I went through many experiences in football in difficult atmospheres. I never found cannibals in the stands, only noisy people. Cannibals eating players I never saw, but I saw a stadium where the crowd scored a goal.
In the soccer tribe, what would Jose Mourinho be?
He'd be a witch doctor. Because managers have to work magic. All their influence has to be through their personality, through their knowledge, their skill, but above all through their charisma.
I would compare Mourinho's impact on English society, if you like, with Brian Clough.
Good managers make good sides.
I haven't seen anything like it since Brian Clough.
There's no such thing as a side making a manager.
I have to defend what is mine. And the Champions League is mine.
We all like to be liked. And yet show me somebody who's liked by everybody and I'll show you somebody who's wrong.
Why should I comment John Cruyff? Who is John Cruyff in this game?
When you listen to him giving an interview, you realize that here is a man who is thoughtful, but fearless.
I think it's time to stop to criticize Bolton for playing direct football.
Why?
Because Liverpool play more direct than Bolton.
He speaks as he feels, and he makes comments that other managers wouldn't dare to make.
I wouldn't change the squad, and I wouldn't change the journalists in the press.
When he was dying, Brian Clough said, "I rather like this Mourinho. He's a good-looking chap. He takes after me."
We have top players, and I'm sorry, I'm a bit arrogant. We have a top manager.
And confidence he gave to them about him in his first press conference, because they must have been sitting saying, bloody hell, you know, come to England as only a young man and saying he's a special one. But what I think it did was it told all the players that he had the belief that he was going to win the league.
Chelsea was so fun. Incredible players, incredible way of life, the place where I enjoy more, live socially, and at the same time work in football.
He made a difference to all of our careers that he came across at Chelsea, you know, because he showed us a different way. He brought the mindset that every game was important, not just the big one. Every game was important. If you wanted to be champions, you had to pick up the points every week.
It was the year the Kings Road entertainers morphed into a European super club. Ruthless and stylish, Mourinho's Chelsea dominated the Premier League, breaking records for games won and goals scored.
There was this sort of myth blown up that Chelsea just defended and were hard-working and ground the opposition down, but that wasn't true.
No, tell me, in England, which team plays better than Chelsea? Arsenal?
They might get more
better
critical
than us,
acclaim sometimes.
Yeah.
They might get more critical
10 points
acclaim.
behind. 10 points behind.
If it was a physical game, we could stand up to the opposition. If it was an open, entertaining game, we had the players who could win that type of game as well. And they found a way to win. That was the secret and the strength of that Chelsea team.
No, at that time I was saying I was special because I was European champions 2 days before that. So I arrived here with my ego. No, he's even higher. I never run away from responsibility. I never run away from pressure. The best thing for the players is to feel that the manager is capable of hold that pressure and that responsibility, and leave the players with more freedom to express themselves.
Is he prepared to do almost anything to win?
He is, yeah. I think he'll push as far as he can if he thinks it's the right thing for him and his team.
When Jose Mourinho walks into a press conference, he makes Machiavelli look like a beginner.
Frank Rijkaard, history as a player cannot be compared with my history, because his history is fantastic and my history is zero.
The science of destabilizing your opponent is central to just about everything he does.
My history as a manager cannot be compared as Frank Rijkaard's history, because he has 0 titles and I have a lot of them.
In February 2005, Jose Mourinho returned to Barcelona, the club he'd served for 5 years.
Barcelona's huge media entourage swarmed around him.
Most still referred to him as the translator.
He's come out early. This is a movie star acting in a relaxed way at a time when he cannot be relaxed. The essence of what he's doing here is establishing that he is completely at home, unfazed by anything, completely relaxed. There's no problem. His team are obviously going to win. And that is part of the strategy of what he's doing.
Mourinho's players were suitably inspired. Until Didier Drogba was sent off early in the second half by referee Anders Frisk. Not for the last time, Mourinho would have to combat Barcelona with 10 men. Frank Rijkaard's side recovered to hold a 2-1 lead for the return leg. But the real story of the night was about to break.
We will be submitting an official report to UEFA about an incident that occurred at half-time.
I saw something happen in the tunnel that I thought was wrong, and I reported it.
There's a rumour, Frank, that the referee Anders Frisk and you talked at half-time.
It isn't true. And if people are creating these rumours, then almost, I want to say, that's not the correct attitude after a game.
Obviously, I haven't spoken about it much since. I was the person who saw Mr. Rijkaard go towards the dressing room area.
It was part of a strategy to do 2 things, to destabilise Barcelona and to build the stockade mentality within Chelsea.
The only mistake I made was that when he disappeared from my view, I thought he was in the referee's dressing room, but I think there's a little corridor about 3 yards before you actually get to the referee's dressing room. I just reported honestly what I saw.
I don't know what he's doing in England. If he is doing mind games, so be it, but this was a game of football, come on.
Anders Frisk received death threats. UEFA's head of referees condemned Mourinho.
The enemy of football.
Chelsea were found guilty by UEFA of bringing the game into disrepute, and Mourinho was banned for 2 games. By then, Frisk had decided never to referee again.
Chelsea are through! Can anyone stop Jose Mourinho now?
And Mourinho had enjoyed the greatest European night of his Chelsea career.
I think that everyone has his form of motivating his team. But if you are accusing people who are working seriously and honestly, I think that's a bad thing. So he has to get it back.
He has upset a lot of people with his confrontational style, with his abrasiveness. Do you feel sometimes he's ever overstepped the mark with that?
I don't think you can change what you are. I think what you are, you are. So there's no point in changing that. And if he's got that abrasive tone to his management style, it's only helped the teams he's managed.
The most difficult thing we did, in my opinion, prove to ourselves and show Barcelona we can be better than them.